sector by leveraging the latest innovations in technology for financial education, services, and interactive tools. InvestView's family of subsidiaries focus on delivering products that serve individuals around the world. InvestView companies are forging a path for individuals to take advantage of financial and technical innovations. For you, for your family, for your future. InvestView. Invest in you.
Hey, welcome back. You know, we here at Newsmax, we have a very diverse audience. Many conservatives are out there, many libertarians are out there. And one common goal that most of us have is we want the government out of our life for the most part. Give us some schools, give us some roads, give us some national security. The rest, keep your hands off my lands. And one place where the government seems to be putting up a tremendous amount of resistance here in the U.S. is around the emerging new economy called cryptocurrency. I talk about Bitcoin all the time. Frank and I have been covering Bitcoin since the beginning of this show, and we try to bring you on the best guests who know where the rubber meets the road when it comes to this stuff. And when you want to talk about first adopters and inventors and innovators and guys who know and participated in changing the paradigm in the way currency is traded, joining us now is Nick Spanos. Nick, thanks for taking some time with us here on Liquid Lunch today.
Thanks for having me,
Really appreciate you coming down. So you, for years and years now, you had the first ever live Bitcoin trading floor. At one point, you had about 1/3 of all the blockchain patents that were out there. And now you have this great new concept with the Bitcoin centers. You hosted us down in Miami when we were down there. Thank you. Tell our audience what's going on and why the government is so resistant to what I think is a great thing.
Well, you know, when we first opened the Bitcoin Center downtown in 2013, right next to the 100 feet from the New York Stock Exchange, people didn't know what to make of it because they didn't know what cryptocurrency was. They didn't know what Bitcoin. They only had a bunch of bad news about Bitcoin, and then all the regulators jumped in, and they don't know anything about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. And this is what happened in New York, and there are other states where things are much easier for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
But years ago, 2013, 2014, it was like unheard of. Like you said, no one knew about it.
Right next door to you.
It gained, right, we had the studio right next door to you, but it's gained notoriety, it's gained more wider acceptance. It's still just the tip of the iceberg when what it can do for the global economy. But what are the developments, what developments do you think have happened that have made its acceptance and adoption speed up a little bit?
I think that it has no borders. You know, Bitcoin does not have any borders, and people that need Bitcoin around the world, if they're government, if you ask someone in the street over here if they need Bitcoin, they might probably say no, they don't need it. But if you ask someone in Venezuela, they need it. You know, they know that they need it. You don't have to explain Bitcoin to them. As a matter of fact, we took all our old mining machines and we were giving them, whoever was going to Venezuela, we'd give them a free mining machine. And you know, we saved, I think we did a good thing for those people because their currency collapsed so quickly. I know that people might not think that Bitcoin is necessary, and now it's only like a luxury or a store of value for some investors and stuff. But you know, where the rubber meets the road is there are countries around the world that are losing faith in their own fiat currency because they can print as many as they want. You know, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. That you know, when I found
2140, you said?
The year 2140, and all the coin is going to be released to the miners. Meaning,
so Frank's been following this along with me from a very, very early stage. I kind of use him when I have guys like you on to see if he can understand it because it's entry level.
Well, so 3 days ago, the headline in the Wall Street Journal was, if Bitcoin looks like it isn't trading, it's because it isn't. And they report that about 9.1 million Bitcoins, which represents 51% of those outstanding, haven't changed hands in at least 6 months. Why aren't people trading Bitcoin?
Well, a lot of people are not trading the Bitcoin. They're called hodlers, and the reason why they're not trading it is because many people believe that it's going to go to, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, because there are only 21 million. If you do the math, let's say a stock is going up, then all of a sudden there's more stock that's created out of thin air, and then the price goes down. But this, you can't do that. There's only going to be 21 million, so people believe in the scarcity of it.
Well, so I can understand that as an investment prospect, but in terms of the viability of Bitcoin as an actual currency, does the fact that people are hoarding it make it less likely that it's going to be an acceptable currency for people to be using?
Well, each Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis within it. So, that was like a Trojan horse. We said, Bitcoin, there's only 21 million, so that's not really going to be a world currency. But if each one has 100 million, the 100 millionth decimal point, then people are going to be trading Satoshis pretty soon. I mean, we're trading them now. So the viability of it.
If Bitcoin were 100 million,
yeah.
If Bitcoin were $1 million,
Sure.
then a Satoshi would be 10 cents.
A Satoshi would be 1 cent.
1 cent.
Yeah.
So then it would be harder to trade Satoshi. So hopefully we got to get it somewhere between 1 million and 100,000.
Listen, it's censorship resistant. There's no boss. Facebook tried to is coming out with a coin, but there's a boss. So they bring them in front of the Senate and they start interrogating them and trying to make them look bad. But no one knows who the creator of Bitcoin is, which is good, because all these central banks, I call them the counterfeiters, because they're not really banks. They're just
printing debt paper.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people, ask me, easy question, simple questions. But I feel like what people don't understand is when their first answer back is, well, it's not backed by anything. No fiat currency is backed by anything, because every country in the world is in debt. So, we're basically backed by treasury notes that float the debt, right?
Well, yeah. We're backed by the whim of an organization we don't really know much about. And I worked for Ron Paul for many years, and we had a bill on the floor and to audit the Federal Reserve, and then I think Bernie Sanders screwed us up. As a matter of fact, we passed it in the House of Representatives, and it went to Senate. And Bernie Sanders screwed it up, and then he made his own bill that had no teeth. And so, what was the question?
No, let's go to the next question, because I want to ask you this. There's been a lot of fraudsters out there, right? And a lot of them are not the security of Bitcoin, but people doing bad things under the guise of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Well, Billy the Kid robbed a lot of banks. Yeah. No one ever blamed the money, the cash, Got it. So you can try, the media is going to try to blame Bitcoin and try to blame cryptocurrency, because frankly, they don't understand it. They don't understand anything about it. And it's so transparent and immutable. You can't change anything that's on the blockchain. And it's the better way to go, of course.
Just a little bit of breaking news. I know we're going to get into this with Rich Valdez next, but just so folks don't have to go elsewhere to know what's happening. Apparently, the Attorney General, Bill Barr, has put out a statement saying that the evidence compiled by the Inspector General shows the FBI, quote, launched an intrusive investigation of a U.S. presidential campaign on the thinnest of suspicions that, in my view, were insufficient to justify the steps taken. Additionally, John, the Inspector General report also recommends that new guidelines be established for investigations into presidential campaigns, and due to problems with FBI's applications to the National Security Court to conduct secret surveillance on George Papadopoulos, the Inspector General is launching a separate inquiry into how the FBI obtains national security warrants to eavesdrop on American citizens.
Wow, this is crazy. And I guess the drumbeat continues. You worked for Ron Paul. You know what a swamp it is down there. But speaking of the swamp, you got this guy, Brad Sherman, a congressman, who's calling for the banning of all cryptocurrencies. And, you do a little homework behind the scenes and you see he's really the tool of the bank lobby. Maxine Waters has come out against cryptocurrency. She gets most of her money from the bank lobby. Is the fight right now in America between crypto enthusiasts and the bank lobby? Because that's a tough fight, Nick.
There's a huge bank lobby, and yes, Sherman gets a lot of money from like UBS and Credit Union, National Association, right? All these different
American Mortgage Bankers Association. Yeah. So banks.
So yeah, that's who funds them. But one of the problems, I believe, is that a congressman's term is only two years. So right when he gets in, after he got money from friends and family, after he gets in, all he does is try to raise money right away, like the next day. So what do you know? Of course, I blame him because he's un-American and he doesn't belong over there. And but. They want to stay the belle of the ball in the Capitol, so they have to take the money from the lobbyists in the hallway so they can win the election every 2 years. 2 years is nothing because they're running for 18 months. They're running, so right away they're raising money, so they have to get any money they can. So this guy's getting money from the banks. Of course, he hates cryptocurrency, and they're telling him, not to, to say, oh, we're going to make a ban on cryptocurrency, which they can't ban it because, the three-dimensional rule set does not work in our realm.
That's right. And we had Tim Draper on a few weeks ago. Today we got Nick Spanos. These are some of the biggest names, if not the biggest names, around Bitcoin and blockchain. Nick, thanks so much for giving us a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying right there. We're going to dig a little further into this summary and the comments by Bill Barr coming out of the IG report. And we're going to take a quick break and come back right after this with Rich Valdez, the host of the This Is America podcast.